Ready to unlock some serious sales potential? We are.
Yeah, let's do it.
Today, we're diving deep into, how to motivate your sales team
Good stuff.
by the sales experts, right?
Sales experts, yeah. They always have solid advice.
Definitely. And we're going to pull out the best tips, the ones you can actually use.
Yeah, make it actionable. Right.
Exactly. And the first thing that jumped out at me, they said, forget the, just dangling a bigger paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
It's about recognition.
Recognition, yeah. But it's got to be more than just a good job.
Exactly. It has to be, well, they call it personal.
Yeah. Because what motivates one person, like, a big award, might not work for somebody else.
Right. It's like some people, just like a thank you note is huge.
It's about knowing your team.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out what makes them tick.
Like they give a great example, top performer, they got lunch with a company executive.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. And it's not just a perk. It's like, hey, we're investing in you.
Exactly.
And that kind of leads into the whole development thing.
Yes. Training. It's got to be ongoing.
More than just a, hey, here's a course, go do it.
It's an investment in your people.
Shows you value them.
And that keeps them engaged, motivated.
Which then benefits everybody.
Absolutely.
And it's not just like, here are the types of training. It's like, what's the outcome we want?
Right. What are we trying to achieve here?
A sales force that's, on point.
Adaptable. Ready for anything.
But motivation is one thing. How do we get results?
The million-dollar question.
And that's where goal setting comes in.
Goal setting, yeah.
Yeah.
But the sales experts, they got some pretty interesting takes on this.
Yeah, they flip the script a little bit.
They do. Instead of just, the boss saying, here's your target, they say, involve your team.
Oh, interesting.
Imagine if, your salespeople felt like they were part of setting those goals.
Ownership, right.
Ownership, commitment.
Buy-in.
Yeah.
Much more likely to actually hit those goals if they feel like they're a part of it.
Exactly. And that kind of ties into their next point, the work environment.
Yeah, they're big on positive vibes.
Positive vibes, yeah. But, specific examples, too. Not just
Fluffy stuff.
Yeah, fluffy stuff. Like they mention team celebrations.
Even something small, like a pizza party when you hit a target.
Right. It builds camaraderie.
Makes people feel appreciated.
Yeah, and that makes them want to go that extra mile.
Mm-hmm. But, of course, it's not all pizza parties.
Right. The sales experts, they also talk about giving your team the right tools.
Tools and resources. Like, that makes a huge difference.
Because if they're, struggling with outdated stuff.
Frustrated,
exactly. They can't work efficiently.
It's like you got to give them up-to-date product info, compelling case studies.
So they can work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And walk into those meetings feeling confident.
Confidence is key. When your salespeople feel prepared, they're more likely to close those deals,
Hit those targets.
Hit those targets, yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about recognition, development, even the work environment. But as, got to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Compensation.
Yeah, it's a big one. Can't ignore it.
And the sales experts, they get that. They know competitive pay and benefits are crucial.
Definitely. But they also push us to think beyond the paycheck.
Beyond the paycheck. It's like they hit on this whole work-life balance thing pretty hard.
Work-life balance, yeah. It's huge for, keeping people motivated long term.
And just honestly for their well-being.
Absolutely. We got to remember, our size people, they're people. They got lives outside of work.
Yeah, families, hobbies, commitments.
Exactly. And if they feel like they can, balance those things without getting penalized.
Their loyalty goes up.
For sure. And their productivity, too. Often you actually see an increase.
Interesting. So what do the sales experts suggest? Like, how do we actually put this into practice?
Well, they talk about things like flexible work arrangements.
Oh, okay. Like working from home sometimes.
Yeah, or having flexible hours. And this might sound crazy, but they actually encourage people to use their vacation time.
To actually take a break.
Yeah. It sounds simple, but a lot of companies, they kind of discourage that,
It's like, oh, you're taking time off.
Exactly. But the sales experts are like, no, encourage it. It makes a huge difference.
I can see that. What are your thoughts on that? Like, in your experience, have you seen that work?
Yeah. I mean, it's about creating that culture of trust where people feel comfortable, taking care of themselves without worrying about falling behind.
Yeah, or getting judged for taking a break.
Exactly. It's not just about time off, though. It's also about, open communication, feedback.
Yeah, they talk about that a lot. And it's not just top-down, right?
Right. It's two-way. They really emphasize like encouraging salespeople to share their ideas, their concerns.
And knowing they'll be heard.
Exactly. And that leads into, I think, the most important thing, leadership.
Leadership. They really drive home the point of leading by example, don't they?
Yeah, it's not just, be a good leader. They get specific. Like if you want your team to embrace work-life balance, you gotta walk the walk.
You got to do it yourself.
Exactly. Or if you want them to be passionate about your product, your own enthusiasm, it's gotta be contagious.
It's like that saying, actions speak louder than words.
Totally. Especially when it comes to motivation.
So to all the leaders out there listening, think about the messages you're sending. Through your actions, are they aligned with the culture you're trying to build?
Yeah, because ultimately, motivating a sales team, it's not just about hitting numbers. It's about creating a culture of success where everyone feels, valued, supported, inspired to do their best work.
It's about building a team that's not just productive, but happy.
Happy to be there. Yeah.
And that energy, it's infectious. It spreads to clients, partners, everyone they interact with.
Exactly. And that's what drives real sustainable sales success.
So much good stuff here, from like tangible rewards to those less tangible things like culture, leadership. It's all connected.
It is. And before we wrap up, there's one more piece I think we got to highlight. Personalization.
Yes. Tailoring your approach.
Yeah.
Treating each member of your team as an individual.
Right, because that's the key to unlocking their full potential. And we'll dive deeper into that in the final part of our deep dive.
And we're back. So we've covered a ton, from recognition to building a positive work environment. But as we wrap up our deep dive with the sales experts, there's one more piece we got to nail down.
Personalization, right?
Personalization, exactly.
It's like a thread that runs through all their advice. They get it, Not all salespeople are wired the same.
We're not dealing with robots here.
Nope. We're dealing with individuals with their own dreams, goals, you name it.
So no magic formula.
Nope. It's about knowing your team. Like really knowing them.
Strengths, weakness is what makes them pick.
Exactly. Like for one person, maybe leading a project is huge.
Gives them a sense of ownership.
Right. But for someone else, it might be flexibility.
Working from home?
Yeah. Or setting their own hours. It's about figuring out what truly motivates each person.
It's almost like treating each member of your team like their own little market segment.
That's a great way to put it.
What are their pain points? What do they aspire to? And how can you, as a leader, help them get there?
You nailed it. It's about making them feel valued, seen, heard.
And that just fuels their motivation.
Absolutely. It makes them want to be a part of the team's success because it's their success too.
So, to all our listeners out there leading sales teams, think about this. What's one thing you can do this week? Just one thing to personalize your approach.
Yeah, like a small gesture of appreciation.
Or a development opportunity.
Or even just a conversation to understand their goals.
It doesn't have to be this big, grand thing.
Sometimes the little things make the biggest difference.
Because ultimately, a motivated sales team is a team that feels valued, supported.
Inspired, ready to achieve great things.
And that's what drives real, lasting success. Wouldn't you say?
100%. It's about building a culture where everyone thrives, professionally and personally.
And when you do that, the results speak for themselves.
They do.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into how to motivate your sales team by the sales experts. We highly recommend checking out the full article. Tons of great advice in there.
Actionable stuff.
Exactly. And remember, motivating your team, it's a journey, not a destination.
Keep learning, keep experimenting.
And most importantly, keep those conversations going.
Because when your sales team is firing on all cylinders, there's no limit to what you can achieve.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us.